Okay, so we are in the middle of the review of the first part of Parshas Beis, I believe, that we started before Chaf Shvat. And last week, I'm just trying to see which is Nun Aleph Nun Beis. I think it's Nun Beis. So last week we focused on the fact. Hello. So last week we focused on the fact that Hashem is revealing to Moshe and to all of Klal Yisrael what is the piece, that the secret to take us out of Galus and the permanent Galus. There was a secret to take the Yidden out of the Galus of Mitzrayim. And the Rebbe said, because everything in the Torah is eternal, so even though we're not actually living in Mitzrayim anymore, and even though we don't have a physical parai, we have the same, on an energetic level, we have the same principles. And when we're, the difference is that now we actually have the Kalim. Moshe Rabbeinu didn't have the Kalim at that time, so he needed to come with Hashem. So Hashem was acted like the Kalim to be able to use these tools of how to get out of the limitations of Galus. And now the Rebbe is saying that we have the Kalim and we did the Birurim, and we have the ability to do this on our own, to engage in confronting Parai, who at his core is actually, he has the truth of essence, of that everything is really holy. And the more buried it is, the more truth it is. And in the past, we didn't have the kalim, the vessels, to be able to confront and examine and extract the truth behind the negative expressions, right? But now we have the ability to confront the light and to confront the darkness, and to know that at its core, it's something very, very true and holy. And not only is it something very true and holy, but it's when we get what it is, whatever it is behind it, it's revealing God's essence. Because Parai of Kedusha is the truth of God's essence. And I think we explained before, and what is this tool to be able to engage in this light without falling apart? That is to use the lights of Tohu. Tohu are the feminine lights, the transcendent lights, which are above limitations. They're higher than spirituality. And when you use them appropriately by tuning in to your heart and to your body, and learning the language, you are able to sort of dismantle all negative triggers and get the truth out of it and integrate with the truth, so that eventually you're coming out of all your limitations and returning to your highest, most holy self naturally. That's the beauty. And you mamish reveal, you live Emunah without even trying. It's so beautiful. And the more we do it, it takes a lot of time. And Hashem peels off onion layers one at a time. So it's not if we start right now, we're going to feel naturally. It's a process. And then when Hashem decides that we're ready for the next level, he'll give us a trigger. And we don't have to be afraid of triggers. Those are gifts, because beneath what looks like negative is actually, it's a package. And you unwrap the package, there's a big gift that wants to reveal something true for you. And it's always love and beauty. It's beautiful. It's nothing negative. And there's always how worthy you are, how amazing you are. And it's, and it's unconditional love, and how powerful you are, and all the things that we didn't realize before about ourselves. And when we integrate with this truth, we naturally become our best selves. And it's beautiful. And we change the energy of the environment. Not only do we change the energy of the environment, people in our environment who are not doing this work, many of them are affected without even knowing how. And they're also behaving differently because they're getting out of limitations through our transformation. And the Rebbe says, and this affects the whole entire world. So it's not, you don't have to wait for everybody in the world to do it. When we do this ourselves, our energy is transforming and taking the whole world out of their limitations and their negativity. And what happens is, it's so beautiful, we're going to get to it, that through this energy of Tohu, people find peaceful resolutions. And I just want to share something before we get into it. And you'll see the science behind it of why this works. So I was having a discussion with somebody. She wasn't Jewish. And she was talking about these fishermen that they always destroy the penguins, I think, or something like that. I don't know whether they're the babies or something. And there's people very against it. They're destroying these beautiful creatures. Why are they destroying it? Because it affects their fishing and they can't produce enough. So she had this great idea that why don't we just do that to their kids, these people? And look, I said, something, when we live Geula, we have better ideas. When we live Geula, what happens? Okay, maybe there'll be wealthy people that feel sorry for the penguins. And they'll approach the fishermen and they'll say, why are you hurting the penguins? Because you need a parnasa. And they're affecting your parnasa. So how about if we give you whatever you would be earning, and we could save the penguins or whatever, And I'm not saying this is the exact thing, but that's how Geula solutions happen when we're in this higher vibration by using this Tohu light, this light that's without limitations, and it has to be channeled appropriately, so it could be very dangerous. It's the feminine light. It's the light of passion, emotions, creativity, and body, anything, whatever feminine, and anything feminine that in the past we suppressed. So it gives us this new expansiveness to have creative ideas how both people could get what they need without hurting the other. And that's how the world is going to come to peace. So it starts with us. And when we start changing like that, the whole world starts evolving and everybody gets affected, and we'll start seeing peaceful resolutions. And the beauty of this light is that the resolution is that neither side compromises in a certain way. They don't lose their truth. Both sides are represented in the solution. So let's say the wealthy people, they want the penguins to stay alive. So they got what they want. The fishermen, they need parnasa. They got what they want. See, so everybody's happy. So I don't know if that's a solution because, maybe people want to eat fish, but I'm just saying in general, that's how the whole world is going to change. Okay, anyone have any questions or before we start? Okay, so we're going to continue the review because now we're going slowly and we're digesting it. And it's very important because this is mamish how we want to live, start living day to day. So it's very important to go slow and talk about it and internalize it and see the changes. I could just see, yeah.
Can I just ask a quick question?
Sure.
I'm not on camera because I'm not really.
Oh.
Anyway, hi.
Okay. Huh?
Don't look so good. But I love what you're saying. And I jumped on a little late, so I didn't hear the first part of, so like when we heal the triggers, right? Okay, I guess with the penguin, just plugging in that penguin example. So say we would get super triggered by that, right? That woman was super triggered.
Right.
Like you should do that, whatever. She said that cruel thing. Mm-hmm. So that's obviously she's completely triggered by that.
Right.
So what you're saying is once we go in and heal that trigger, then we come up with a better solution, a higher solution. Is that what you're saying?
Well, there's two things. You have to heal the trigger and you have to be in a good energy. The good energy is uplifting. That's the paro, the flow. You have to be in a state of flow. And that's in order self-care,
in order to
Yeah.
get those
Yeah,
creative.
and those solutions come because it comes straight from Atmos, and there's no limitations. And it also, it's so beautiful how I'm going to explain what this light is made of. It's made of two aspects. It's the flow, and it's like it's above limitation. So it's a beautiful light, and it gives to the person. It doesn't. And then there's the other part of the light which reveals essence in that solution. So you're not shutting anyone down. You're allowing each person to be heard, but in the best way possible. So it's like a way solving a problem where nobody's shut down. And that's the beauty of it.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So
very cool.
Yeah, it's
Thank
good
you.
stuff. It's good stuff. What can I tell you? It just gets better every week. Okay,
Yeah.
so now, so what's the power, right? We said, what's the power of Kedusha? That it's the highest revelation of godliness, both in type and in essence. Okay, so it reveals God's essence, and it's a certain type, it's a flow. You have to be in a state of flow in order to reveal essence. That's a missing secret. If you're stressed out, not happening. And it's quite obvious, like, are we at our best when we're kvetchy? No. And we're tired and we're hungry. It's quite obvious, but in the past we thought it was holy to do that. But now we're ready for the next level, bring peace to the world. And now we have to make sure our machine is in top order to bring Geula. We cannot not be tired, kvetchy, hungry, moody, and we've got to keep our machine in a good place. Because when God calls on us to do something, we got to be on our best in that zone. We have to be in that zone where we have access to things. We don't have to force, we don't have to control. Solutions come, and nobody shut down. Got to be in the best form for that. Okay, so these are the deepest levels in godliness, which transcends order and levels. So we learned in the past. I didn't have time to figure out how to share this link, but we had a chart. Remember that chart of higher 11, lower 11, all that stuff? So this Tohu light is in the upper 11. After the class, I'm going to share the chart. So it's above the world. It's the light that's not like in form and order. But the masculine light is in form and order, so there's rules. You need that too, right? Because how do you use that light? You have to know how to make sure it doesn't, get out of hand. You don't want it to consume you, right? You don't want to chase pleasure. You want to use it in a way that it puts you in a good state, not just empty chasing, because empty chasing doesn't do anything for you. It just leaves you empty. But it's an art, it's a science. Tune in. Is this doing anything for me? Am I feeling uplifted? Because you could do the same thing every day, and one day it doesn't work for you. Go find something else. You got to always change it around, because you always need new. Hashem likes when you try new things. So if you took a walk and now you're not feeling uplifted, go dance, or go to the park, or try a new recipe. You have to tune into what new energy is going to put you in that level. Okay, so it's this light that we're using to be able to dismantle the negativity of Paro, to reveal the highest truths of Hashem. It's sort of like it reveals essence. And it's not, the Rebbe says, it's not referring to the light that is in parameters and form, which is spirituality. It's not referring to that. Because light from a luminary is not as the gushing forth type. Spirituality is not gushing forth type, which is above all order, right? Spirituality is, this is rules. How do you do this and how do you do that? It's all beautiful, but it's not this light. The Rebbe is making it very clear, okay? And we need spirituality. We're not saying that, but we have to recognize that this light is not that light. The Rebbe is making it clear. And the type of revelation is gushing forth, the flow type of light. So it has to put you in a state of flow, calm, peace. Everything's okay. It's like a high. It's like being on drugs without drugs. So that's the beauty. So together as one, the light of power of Kedusha is the holy light of Tohu, of disorder. This is the light which is above measure, order, measure, or limits. Okay, so we have to know which light we're talking about. This light, the Rebbe is making it very clear, is above order, measure, or limits. So now, let's talk about these two lights. What's the difference between the light of revelation, the light that reveals Atmos, and the light of Shefa, the flow gushing type of lights? Okay, so now the light of revelation is called Kol Neharin, right? Isparu Kol Neharin. Paro stands for Isparu Kol Neharin. Isparu is the gushing forth, Kol Neharin, these all-inclusive lights from essence. So what is this light? So this light is the light that before Hashem revealed himself through creation, right? Everything was within Hashem. So it was like silent. You didn't know what Hashem is all about, right? That he could create people, he could create animals, he could create malachim, right? All that. But even though it's not expressed, you can't even know what's in there. It's like dark, right? There's nothing there. Still, those things are found within the essence. If the fact that Hashem could create it, and Hashem could create infinite everything, it's all found within the essence. Okay. So what does the Kol Neharin light do? It reveals what was previously unexpressed within the oneness of Atmos. So we were once, and we're still connected to that. We are one with that. But before we were created, we were in Hashem, and it wasn't revealed. Okay. So is everything else that Hashem reveals. Then what's the nature of the light of revelations? So this light, because it's a light that illuminates, which means that it's about revealing that which wasn't seen. What's special about this light is it doesn't say, look at me. It doesn't occupy space in the room. It points to the other objects, to existence. This is Metzius, right? So before, when I was one with Hashem, you couldn't see me. Now that I'm created, this light shows me as a person, right? But it doesn't show itself. You don't look at the light. You say, hey, you look at me as a human being. So that's very special. That's what's special about this light. It doesn't talk about itself at all. It just helps you see what was once hidden in essence. So it's here to tell you that it doesn't exist, which is very special. It says, I'm here to tell you that I'm a reflection of source. And through here, you'll see everything. Hashem wanted Atzmos should be seen. So this light, the light of Kol, like all Naharim, all everything that flows, right? All the streams, who has no Metzius, that because of that, it's able to reveal Atzmos through it. Hashem's essence, and as well as our essence, when we are in this light and we're like negotiating with somebody else and trying to find a peaceful resolution, the resolution is not going to be that anybody is hidden. It's actually going to reveal the truth of their essence. And that's the beauty. Both people. Nobody's truth is concealed in the solution. So if it requires that somebody shut down from who they really are, that's not the solution. It has to be that your essence is could shine and their essence could shine. So it's great that it doesn't lose anything of itself, because that means that when it's illuminating, it doesn't affect the source, right? You you have a candle and there's a table. The table stays a table. You take away the thing, the table's still there, okay? So in this case, when we're talking about Atzmos, so we have to realize that it's connected mamish to source at all times. So even when I look like I'm a human being in a world, it's just that the light is shining the fact that I am a human being. But really, at all times, I'm still really part of that dark, whatever you want to call it, that you couldn't see anything. I'm part of that essence. I'm one with that. Okay, just the light lets you see all the parts. It's like a human body, let's say. So before it became a baby, so it was like an egg. So you didn't see all the parts, but it had potential for all the parts. Then when it becomes fertilized, and then you can see the hand. So that would be like the light showing you all the parts, but really it's one body. And so we're really one with essence. It's just, we can't see all the aspects of essence. This light shows, oh, there's human beings, there's plants, there's animals, there's heavens, there's earth, there's different things. Okay. Now, at the same time, that's so special about this light, that it's so modest and humble, and it doesn't talk about itself, it just illuminates what is created, right? Or whatever there is within God. Even like God's way of being, love, kindness, it's not just, physical creation, but everything and anything about God, the truth about God, all that, this light reveals it. But it doesn't give anything of itself. Okay, so it doesn't add value to the person that is connecting to it. So it just illuminates. So like when you look into a mirror, like you said in the past, while you're looking at it, it has your image. But the minute you walk away, nothing of your image remains. So what's missing is that it doesn't do anything for the person other than illuminate Atzmos, but it needs another quality, the Hashem felt. Okay, so it's restricted by the limitations and form of the details of the revelation, that so that it doesn't add to the recipient, and it doesn't reveal in a way that the receiver could receive. Okay, so the Hashem also wanted that, let's say, the solutions should come, not just that you see it, but what do you do about it? Like, go more. You know what I mean? It should take us out of not just to see the truth, but to know what to do with it. That you need a little more help, and that you need the flow. Okay. So an example, I'm going into explaining it in all different ways. I'm quoting Yossi Jacobson. I learned this from him. So just to make it clearer and clearer, I'm just giving a lot of examples. So this is like somebody who teaches what he knows, but he doesn't tailor it to the audience. Okay. So it's obvious what he knows. He knows like the highest level of math, but meanwhile, nobody got anything out of it. Okay. So that's this light of Kol Naharim. It reveals the essence that this guy is such a brilliant guy. But when he's teaching to an audience that doesn't even know what to do with it, he hasn't really helped them at all. Right? How, like, if I don't get what you're talking about, how did I help you? So that's the problem with this light. So now we have the Isparu light and the gushing forth, which is the quality of the light. And this is the flow. And the benefit of the flow is it gives something to the receiver. It upgrades the person. For example, a teacher gives over information, not what he knows, but in a way that the recipient could understand. So you're never going to know what the teacher really knows, because you only know the limited amount that he gave to the student, right? But what's beautiful, the student has this for life. It changed him. It changed him. Now, after the teacher passes away, he's taking what he learned and using it, and even, he could use it for life and then grow with it. And you know what I mean? So the flow is very necessary to help the person go higher and to upgrade and to find solutions and all that stuff, and to be in a better state and heal and all that stuff. So you need both qualities. Okay. So that's very nice. So this light is compared to water. Water is flow, right? But if you have a pitcher and you pour out a cup, the pitcher has less water. That's a little different than the light that reveals essence. The essence never changes. So it sort of takes out from the person. And in this sense, it like doesn't reveal essence. It doesn't really reveal who the person is, because I had to make it on your level. So it's like for a baby, you could just tell him, 1 + 1, like a 6-year-old, and it doesn't reveal that I really know more. Okay. Anyone have any questions before we?
Not a question, but I'm sorry, I came late, so I missed a lot. So that could be like I'm missing some of the pieces, but it sounds almost like you're saying the two different lights of Hashem, like the flow and then the part that just reveals, right?
No, the Tohu light is made up of these two aspects. It needs both.
Oh, okay, I missed that. The Tohu light.
That's the beauty of this light. It's gorgeous. And in the beginning, we gave an example of the solutions of how we're going to resolve all the problems in the world through this light, because this light has both aspects. It has flow. It upgrades the person. You're not so stuck in your limitations. You feel expansive. You feel great. And then it also has the light that illuminates essence, so that the solution is not going to be that you shut down or they shut down. The solution is that both of you shine your light. And if I'm supposed to be me, I could come out in that solution, and the other person their essence is going to come out in the solution.
Okay. So you were talking about the different aspects of Tohu light.
Right. So this light accomplishes these beautiful things. And that's the light that we need to get out of Galus. The Tohu light has these qualities, these two, you need both.
Sounds almost like, I only heard the end, but it sounded almost like masculine and feminine energy. Like everything within it has masculine and feminine, because there's the part that you were saying, like it just shines, it's light, it doesn't have any of its own character, it's humble, but it just helps you be, that's feminine.
Right.
And then masculine is, it flows and it gives you new ideas and new content. So it's like within it has the masculine and feminine.
So we could say that, which yes, it makes a lot of sense. But yeah, but this whole light is actually considered a feminine light. The whole light is a feminine light, but everything has aspects. And then what's the, okay, so now we're going to get to, so they're so different and different lights can't really stick together. That's why Bayal Pare, Hashem had to give the command, and Hashem put his essence into it. And there's something, miraculously, these two could work together, even though they're really totally different, and they become one Tohu light. When you engage in Tohu light appropriately, you use it well, you know what you're doing with it, you get both benefits. You need both to be able to get out of Galus. You have to have both. You can't just, you have to, it has to reveal essence, right? It has to help you become your most beautiful self and your truth. Helps you live your truth and be who you are. You don't have to be anybody else, only who you're supposed to be. And it helps you be in a very good state and flow and attract. Things come your way, solutions come your way, all kinds of good stuff. And it upgrades you, puts you in a good mood. And yeah, so, okay. So now I'm just continuing because I want to give just as many explanations as I could. So the Shefa speaker, well, he knows, okay, we said he goes out of his own world and goes into yours, tailor it to you. Go away with something and now becomes part of you. 1 second, I'm hearing a little noise. No, I still hear. Okay. So it's interesting that so it becomes part of you, but it doesn't reflect what the teacher really knows. He said that, okay? Now the flow, the teacher that gives it, tailors it to you, he knows it's all about the packaging. So example of packaging is, I use this in my coaching, okay? You got to make the sale to the animal soul. How are you going to make the sale to the animal soul? You got to talk in a way that he doesn't feel insulted, right? So, for example, when, let's say I would tell somebody like not to control and not to give people advice, right? So how would you make the sale? So in the spiritual way, you say, you're being controlling, you're being this, whatever, just, you shouldn't be doing that, musar. When you're in this Tohu light, you have better ideas of how to make the sale. You say like this, listen, if you're going to give advice, first of all, nobody likes advice. So they're going to say, they're going to be defensive, they're going to get upset. And even if they accept your advice, you're going to be stuck, making sure they fulfill your advice. And it's going to have a job on your hand. So instead, better thing for you, want more free time, is just listen and validate and let the person believe in their own solutions, that they have what it takes. And everybody's happy. So that's the beauty when you're in, you have to know how to make the sale. You got to make this, so that's the beauty of the Shefa light, that you know how to make the sale in a way that is pleasing to the person that they should want to do it. You can't just tell them, oh, don't do this. They get all upset. What are you insulting me? What are you this? You got to make a sale. What's in it for me? And there's nothing wrong with it. It's holy. Like we used to look down at what's in it for me. There's actually something that's what the Alter Rebbe says in Sicha Lagani. You have to tell us, how do you get the Nefesh Habahamis on board? It's about what's in it for me. It's actually very, very holy. I just want to share something that happened yesterday. It's a small thing, and it's possible it happened in the past, but I noticed it. It's just appreciating the growth, that the natural growth when we heal through this light. Okay, so I was talking to a friend yesterday, and I started getting into some frustrating things that happened between me and somebody in the past. And as soon as I started talking, I was like, sort of going over like, oh, I can't believe that I had to deal with. And then, oops, I feel my blood pressure start to, I'm like, something, I don't think I should be talking about. I feel my blood pressure rising. What do I need it for? I'm hurting myself. And it's not like it happened. There's nothing I could do about it. So I was like, okay, we'll talk about something else. The other person starts talking. She's doing the same thing with her thing. Second later, she's like, nah, just getting me aggravated. What do I need it for? There's nothing I could do about it. Okay, let's talk about something else. And then I said, wow, we are maturing. That's beautiful. Do you realize what just happened? It's not like we told ourselves, we didn't come mustering, we shouldn't be talking about it. It was a natural thing. All of a sudden, naturally, it kicked in. Why do you want to hurt yourself? You're just raising your blood pressure. And it's like, yeah, right. Why would I want to do that? You know what I mean? These are small little things, but you start appreciating how you changed. You didn't change from, mustering yourself. You change by healing your triggers, by being in this good light, and you start naturally showing up differently. And I was like, wow, we're maturing. We spoke about other things that we matured about. So does everybody get the difference?
I have an example too of that
Sure.
that happened to me yesterday. I'll just throw it in because I was like shocked. So my husband started talking about, it's like a whole thing within the family, and this cousin is not talking to this cousin, and then she accused her of being a troublemaker, and this one is talking about this one behind her back, and blah blah blah, and then they for some reason my name came up. They thought I was part of that talking bad about, but then it turned out it wasn't me, it was the other cousin, and it was like so much yuck. Mm-hmm. And in the past, I know that as soon as I heard that I was being implicated in this whole talking bad about this family member, defensive and worried and nervous, and oh my gosh, and I got to fix it, and I got to try to figure out how to get my name off this dirt list. And it just felt too complicated and too what do I need this for? What do I need to go there for? I could choose to step out of this whole ordeal and not even talk about it. And I just,
it's amazing.
It was so amazing.
Same night. Yeah. That's the thing, that every week we have new, it's like that by how do you say it? Whatever.
The flavor of the week?
Flavor of the week. Everybody's doing the same thing. It's just wild. It was
crazy. And I kept questioning myself throughout the day, should I be upset about this? Should I even think about it? And I was like, no, I don't have to go there. What are they going to call the police on me? I have to be afraid of something? It's such now that we're in this geula, it's I don't care. So they think I'm talking about them. What do I care? I'm not, and I don't want to talk about them. I don't want to be part of it. Let them go,
drive themselves crazy.
Drive themselves crazy. I'm out. I don't want to.
It's beautiful.
And it was gone. It was so cool.
That's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about. It's just so exciting. When you're living it, it's you don't have to, it's like Hashem is operating through you, your natural self. Our natural self is holy. And when we do this work, that's we're becoming tzaddikim. We don't have to monitor ourselves. We know ourselves. Oh, I know where that came from. I never did that before. Oh, my blood pressure. I never cared about my blood pressure rising. But no, I don't need this. I don't know. What do I need it? Boom, out. I love myself too much. What do I need this? It's beautiful. Yeah,
exactly. And then I would drag my whole family down. Because then my husband would get upset because I would talk about it and get defensive, and then it would cause him to get into the whole, cat fight, and then the whole day would be ruined.
Exactly.
Because we're all upset now. Yeah, and then I would have brought my daughter into it, schlep everybody into this nonsense.
Yeah, 100%. So that's the beauty. That is the beauty of this. Okay, so now, You don't even have to package it. That's the beauty. It's like, so you package it to yourself. It's so beautiful. So so this is the kayach, this is the Tohu light, right? It comes with an energy of support in a smooth and effortless way and at a speed that we could handle. That piece we have to remember, right? It's given over in a way that we can handle it. That's why we're going slowly with it. It's not like in 1 second, you're all the way there. Okay. And you get triggered, you heal it, you take care of yourself. You get another trigger, but we can't handle everything, all the revelations. Like this revelation of like, what do I need this for? That's a revelation. I love myself too much. You can't get it if you're getting so much. It's overwhelming. That's what my Rabbeinu was saying. I don't got the kalim for it. It's you gotta be able to have like so much information. It's too much. You gotta internalize it, let it become part of you, and then you start acting differently, but not through musar, through your soul coming home to itself, and it knows naturally what to do, which is beautiful. So now the downside is, right, that it can't transmit the greatness of Atzmos, right, of the Shefa flow, because like I said, the teacher that gives it over in a way the student can handle doesn't reveal his own knowledge. Okay, so but when it's unified with this Kol Naharin light, it's able to transmit unperceived reality into perceivable reality. Okay, so Atzmos is unperceivable. But somehow, magically, we start getting an idea of what Atzmos is, the truth of Atzmos. We start learning the truth of really what Hashem is. And because it gives it over in a level of receiver. So let's say my Atzmos and her Atzmos was that I love myself too much. I don't need this. It's like, we're so unconditionally lovable that what do we need to hurt ourselves? That's.
I have another example of this.
Yeah.
1 second. First of all, I was just thinking, like we were talking about the elevation of negative things, right? So on the WhatsApp group, with a lot of talk about narcissists last week. Mm-hmm. So I was thinking this morning, I'm like, when we think about it, like we talk about like narcissists are going to transform last. I mean, can you imagine, like, really, what is it all about? It's all about loving ourselves so much and realizing how everything is about us. And Hashem, and like narcissists are like the exact, like literally that. They know that truth, but they're just, it's like the feminist movement, right? They realize that women have power and a higher power, but they totally got it wrong. So the narcissists are living that highest truth, but totally misusing
obscured
the power
and convoluted.
Well, they're saying that it's all about them, but they're thinking that everyone else has to serve them.
They're expressing it wrong. They're hurting themselves. They're hating themselves the most.
Right. Or they think that, they deserve everything, but it has to come from outside of them. And really it's within them with Hashem. So just another thing I was realizing, like, wow, that's going to be the transformation.
They're the most convoluted expression of Parai, which so misinterpreted that you just can't believe it. They have a truth, but it's so misinterpreted that it comes out really wrong, and they suffer from it. It's more than anything else, because look how good it is to be able to free yourself from all past things that held us back. It's the natural being in this light is just amazing. Like, and you give yourself permission to be true to yourself. And it's like, I choose not to be stressed out. I have that permission. And then I could show up calm. What better thing do you want? Like, I don't have to.
Could I just?
Yeah. I was going to say, it's also it's inside out versus outside in. Narcissistic is waiting for the external to give you that validation.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And the inside, knowing your inner value is something you don't have to define.
That's like a big thing. It's very, very external validation. That's what it's built on.
Exactly.
Like extreme need, not just regular that we all have. It's an extreme need, and it's only that. That's what
it's a misunderstanding.
Right.
It's not even like it's not something you like. It's I see now to have compassion for that, because it's not about being angry at someone with it. it's about having compassion that they misunderstood their own value.
Exactly.
Exactly.
They literally didn't understand their essence.
Right. Their light. They don't know how to use their light, and they have that high truth, but they don't know what to do with it. And so that's,
well, they were never taught. They have this inherent understanding that they need all these things to feel whole, and they never were taught that the well is inside of them. So of course they're desperate looking, and then they get angry when people don't give it to them because they don't know that they could get it. I just wanted to share one more Tohu example that it's also modeling. I do a Sunday evening class like once a month, every 6 weeks, whatever, for ladies. So last time telling them about how I put on music and I dance and and then last night another event, and we're talking, and this one of the ladies, she's like, I had this experience. She said, I'm always like searching. She's very spiritual, and she's like, I'm always searching for God, and like I try like through yoga or meditation or whatever. And she's like, I was just like needing that uplift. And she's like, I went into my kitchen, and she's like, Alexa, put on whatever. She said some like her favorite song. And she's like, if Nechama can do it, I can do it too. And she's like, I just dance and dance and dance. And she's like, I can't explain it. It was like, I wasn't searching for God. Like I was just wanted to dance. And she's like, I felt God so deeply through my body. She's like, in a way that I never felt when I searched for him. She's like, I wasn't expecting it. And she's like, and that feeling like I was dancing with God and I wasn't searching for it. She's like, he was just there. It was like in the moment. And she's like, and that lifted me through so much stress the whole week. And I said, yes, because when we feel God, when we live God, and living God is, I can dance at this moment. I have nothing to worry. I'm out of my head. I'm not, if you're controlling your life and you're in the shoulds and you can't feel God because you're controlling, but like your life. But if you're like, I'm just going to dance and just, or let go and just be, there's God in that moment. Because you're allowing
yourself. That's this light, right?
And she felt it. It was like, so.
It uplifts you and it reveals essence, Yeah. So it's just amazing. Okay. Now, so again, we're reminded that the discussion forth and revelation from him of all lights comes specifically from the very essence of being of him. The Rebbe wants to stress, this is how you reveal Atzmus, right? What's the Geula Avaida? Revelation of Atzmus. What's the past Avaida? Revelation of the lower lights of spirituality, to reveal the existence of the fact that God exists and laws and rules. Now it's like God himself, the whole. What's God all about? This is a whole. So the Rebbe wants to stress, this is not the same as the past. The Rebbe stresses it very clearly. Okay. In the language of the Zohar, the palace of Para refers to the palace from where there gushes forth from him all lights. Hashem brings out all the lights because it is in the house. The king is in the house. The king is found. This is like mamish, like how to reveal Atzmus in B'dira B'tachtainim. Revealed in all his essence. I'm calling it all his essence. Okay, so you need the Tohu light to reveal. This is the secret of this Biopara. You need this magical light that has both aspects, and that's the Tohu light, and that is the secret of being able to reveal essence in this palace of Dir B'Tachtainim, everything. And I guess we get more and more, it could be over thousands of years, however long it takes, we just understand Hashem more and more and more, but the ability to reveal essence, we need to use this light. This is the magic of this light. Okay, it's not spirituality. It makes it very clear. Tohu light. Okay. And what's kayach did Hashem, when Hashem said Bayal, Hashem put the ability of these two lights to work together as one, to accomplish both in the same, like you danced, okay, so now you got uplifted, you're in a good mood, and you feel God, you sense God, you're in a state of being. Or like, you could sometimes you go to gorgeous Rocky Mountains, and you're like sitting there looking at, wow, and you just feel so, like that's God, So it reveals God, you feel uplifted. These are different examples. It does both, okay? You're not gonna get it through spirituality itself. Spirituality has a purpose, but this is not, the Rebbe says, makes it very clear, it's not what's taking us out. You still need it, but it's not the secret of getting out of those. So now, once this Tohu light is formed through the unity of both these qualities, from then on, at every level and progression, it continues downward in a particular order, according to its own formula and specific exposure, with order and gradation. So what's example of the going downwards? So the Rebbe says, so this Tohu light has the ability, now that it has the koyach in it, now it has the ability to unify all polar opposites. So for example, it allows unification of the light and the vessel, okay, of body and soul, of soul, of that, so that even the soul in a limited body is able to receive unlimited light. It makes the impossible possible, okay? Like this, when we're only living spirituality, and that's how we relate to Hashem, the soul is not all the way in our body. And so we're sort of like fighting the two wars. We're not one with, like, we're not Hashem Echad within ourselves. Through this Tohu light, the soul becomes all the way into our body and fully expressed. And that's the secret actually of living forever, because it's through it being all the way one with our body that we're not gonna have, it's gonna be able to receive the nurture straight from the body, but only if it's totally within the body. It's like fully expressed, unified. So this Tohu light allows this, and this is something special that the soul couldn't experience prior to descending below. So it receives an upgrade, the Rebbe says, when it enters the body, that it could unify with the body and receive the revelations of essence. It couldn't do that up there. It can't have essence, the revelations of Mamash Hashem himself, only when it's unified in a body. Okay. So this is, the Rebbe says, so this light has the power of unifying all polar opposites of limitless and limit. So it's like the impossible in the possible, So that's why when we're living this life in this light, things like that seem impossible, like, come to us. Like I shared last week, I said things like, everybody said, no, this is never going to happen. I said, don't worry. It's meant to, I made sure to be in this light, and all of a sudden I was shocked. Like, how did you pull that off? Oh, I'm just in this light. All of a sudden, things that look impossible all of a sudden become possible. Solutions come. You don't have to chase anything. Things come to you. That's the way of living. That we're not going to work hard, but we're still going to do things, but in a way that it's like works together. You need somebody that could help you, shows up. You don't have to stress and shit. That whole stressful life is out. It's out. But yeah, so that's the miracle of this light. And I don't think people really appreciate this. This is amazing. Like, I'm learning this and I'm like, where have you been? Like, I didn't know all this. Of course I know, but to way the Rebbe is like breaking it down like this.
Where are you reading from?
This is from the Sicha, and I wrote notes on, from a review of what we learned through.
Oh, wow.
And I took some of the lines from there.
Okay.
And it's great. And it gets even better. After I taught it last week, you know what I saw? Let me see what the last line is. The Rebbe said, and now when you use it right, this is part of Torah HaKadosha. This is a new part, or whatever, of this can be, when you direct this light, it can be now a part of Torah HaKadosha. This is the Torah. Like, remember the added mitzvahs, right? The added mitzvahs with Tzaynacha, and the Rebbe saying it again here. That I'm going to find the line soon, but where the Rebbe says, and that's where we concluded last week. I want to find these words of power and from this is, I'm going to read it. And from this is understood that these words of power have a place in Torah and Kedusha. Only that according to how they are in Kedusha is good in its completion. So you have to use it right. But this is Torah HaKedusha. It's not a joke. You see? And I didn't see that, even though I said it. I didn't know what I was saying 2 weeks, whatever, when I taught it before Chafei Shvat. Okay? That's what I'm saying, that Hashem opens your eyes. I'm reading it again. What? Did I miss that line?
What are you saying? These words of paro?
No, about paro, Baal Parai, right?
Yeah.
And the whole thing that the Rebbe just explained about the Tohu light,
yeah,
have a place in Torah Kedusha, the Holy Torah. This
right,
is
so
like
then,
holy
so
stuff.
then you said these words of parai. Which words?
Oh, the word, no, it's onto these words of Baal Parai.
Oh.
Have a place of whatever, the whole thing about that we just learned, right?
Right.
That this whole understanding has a place in Torah Kedusha. This is now part of our Torah. How to get out of gullus is through using the Torah lights, and it's the added mitzvahs. These are the added mitzvahs. It's not written in the Torah. Well, now it is. They're ever saying now it is. You didn't see it before. Well, now it is. This is how to get out of gullus. It's amazing to know when you know what this light is about, and it's very specific. It's not this, and it is that, and it's not this, and it is that. But you have to know what each thing is. If like, I understood this is Tohu, but the Rebbe told me, I guess, to take a break that week that we had the Chafei Shvat bringing, right? Because he wanted me to listen to Yossi Jacobson, who broke down what each light is, what it's about. Now you can really appreciate the power of this light, what it does, why it reveals ourselves, each thing, it's what it's made of. It becomes a whole new appreciation. And then this light itself, when you incorporate it in unifying all polar opposites, it has the power to make the impossible. How could all these opposing nations get along? Well, when we put enough of this energy of Tohu, used right, which we learn how, into the world, it becomes possible. And I gave an example in the beginning of how you could resolve something so sounding impossible, and nobody's essence is obscured through this. Beautiful stuff. Okay, so, okay. So here we have the secret of unity of all polar opposites, right? And the Rebbe says, don't forget. This is Atzmos light you're revealing here. Okay, now here's more. It's just amazing.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Sorry, my computer died before. I was going to ask you. Going back to the line right before Ois Daled, it says, this revelation of, quote, seeing your face can only be when the soul is above all limits of a physical body and limitations. I'm a little confused.
Right, exactly. It's exactly what we're saying. You could only receive the revelations of Atzmos when you're connected to this light, the higher 11, the Tohu light, which is above limitations. If you're not going to receive the revelations of Atzmos. That's what it's
okay. The confusion I'm having is, I guess, with the words of it's not spiritual, and then the body, and this is, something's not gelling for me here. So
where you're saying, quote it, what I'm saying, or from the Sicha itself?
Both. You're saying it's not spiritual,
right? So we had the words before. So the Rebbe said it's not the lights of limitations, the lower lights, right? We had that before, right? I don't have it over here, but so the Rebbe wants to point out, right? So when we had that whole chart of where's that chart of all the levels of lights, right? So the spiritual light would be the lower 11, and the Rebbe wants to say that this higher 11 light, which is above limitations, the lower light is within limitations. There's rules, anything like it's masculine, right? So spirituality is rules, how to do this and how to do that to reveal Hashem, right? Everything's like, how do you keep Shabbos? There's halachas. So that's a lower light, that's spirituality. And you need it. We're not saying you don't need it, but you got to now bring that other light in to get out of Gullus. That light was about revealing God, and we still need it. But to get out of Gullus, to get out of limitations, to get out of stuck thinking, being in a box, not figuring out how to get along with people that think different than you, all that stuff, to get out of our own struggles. It's not enough to be spiritual, right? We know. We kept Shabbos, we kept this with that. It's still, when we felt triggered, we felt triggered. It didn't help. What now do we need? What's the vitamin that's going to deal with that stuff? All the emotional stuff and all the other, right? Tohu. Tohu is the vitamin. It has miraculous powers.
Okay, so now I want to add something else that came up. The word structure came up recently, and first energy, but then I realized structure, really, like a womb is structure for the baby, and the body is actually structure for the soul. So then I started seeing it as more of a gevura, and it's actually a feminine quality. So I'm just curious at first, and it's interesting because I had a resistance to structure. Like I was like, no, it's got to be like all like airy fairy, and like got to receive it. And
but the way the way to make it holy is you got to put it into structure. Okay, so good.
So this is what I want to talk about.
It's that light that we stayed away from because we didn't have the ability to put into structure. That's what I'm saying. Spirituality is needed. We're not negating that.
Right.
But we didn't. This light gets us out of Gullus. Okay. But we didn't have the ability. We had to do all the birurim and all that stuff. And we had to mature, and we had to have all these experiences till we got to the place the Rebbe said you have the kalim. Now you have the kalim to be able to use this light so that you could dismantle all the negative expressions of parai and reveal what's behind it, what's the truth he's trying to express, but it's coming out all wrong. Okay, so that's what this is about. And this light is what gets us out of Gullus. And the Rebbe is saying what's so miraculous about this light. And I'm just going to explain more, just fascinating, about the Tohu light, what it does. So he gives an example. You have fire and water, okay? You want a hot cup of a tea. Now, if you're going to pour the water into the water is going to get extinguished. You put the fire into the water, the fire gets extinguished. Whatever you do, it's all, going to ruin. Okay, so fire and water can't get along. Now, what's the solution? You need a pot. You put the water in a pot, you put the fire underneath, you have hot water, the water is water, the fire is fire, nobody lost anything, but you need the pot. So that is the Tohu light. The Tohu light is the pot that solves the problem of how the fire can remain fire, the water can remain water, you could get an upgrade, you could get a tea. Okay, isn't this fascinating stuff? So that's the thing. So in the past, we couldn't figure out. So like, stay away from the water, it's going to extinguish the fire. Stay away from that, because we didn't have the pot. The Tohu light is the pot that allows you to figure out how fire could be fire and water could be water, and you get an upgrade because you get a hot cup of it. It adds to the water, it makes it hot. Now, it's funny, the water doesn't add to the fire, but okay, whatever. Bottom line is, it's fascinating.
Can I say something on that?
Sure.
Just thinking also like the light and the structure, and the Tohu light, it's the same thing also like with our body and our soul, right? It says that when Mashiach comes, which we're in the Geula process, right? It's that our body is going to actually nourish our soul, right? That the body is actually even on a higher level. And, part of my own process of like really tuning into my body and like getting deeper and deeper into healing my body. Like I realized, there's many levels of healing. There's first getting your brain to not be toxic anymore, right? We have toxic brains. So it's like, first you have to actually sift through all that and get out the demons, and then your brain starts functioning. And then you have to open up your heart and redeem your Shekhinah and the little girl, whatever, like really be able to have your voice and express. But if your body is still, like, you didn't have tichias amesim, right? If your body is still dead and not still traumatized, the different parts of you, your neshama is like, has all this light, but it's like, it just, you want to love, but who do you love? Do you love yourself, or do you love this other person? Or it has all this energy. But when the body comes alive, it's like literally then your muscles, it's like then your body's like, no, this light's for you now. Oh, this light's for this. Like all of a sudden there's kalim, and your body communicates to you when it's for you, when it's for someone else, when to rest, when to move
100%.
forward. Like it's like
100%.
And that's the last piece. It's like the bot if your body is not healed, then you have all this light and you don't have the vessel. So that's where the body, and then you realize like where body is literally protecting your heart, your soul, and it's like working everything, and then everything's like working in a flow.
Mm-hmm. Just 100%. Beautiful. Okay, so that is beautiful how the Tohu lights acts as a pot, and these are not bound by rules and limitations, so they could speak to us on a level that we can relate to. They sweeten the painful message. It's like a spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down, right? They get us out of our box, out of our rigidity, out of our 3D limited gullish thinking of who we are and who we should be. And it allows us to find a way to make things work, not in a way that one is more right than the other, but it's comprised of kol harin, which is that it reveals everybody's essence, and it allows everybody's essence to shine, and it allows you to find a way. So now what's even more special is because we're in such a good state, it keeps us from getting sucked into the darkness of the klippas that are protecting these highlights. So it's a spiral. And now we could handle more because we're even more healed. So now we could even handle deeper truths because we're not getting not sucked in. Like I shared, even small things like, no, I don't need this. What do I need this for? I'm going to get high blood pressure. I don't need this. That's, that's another level. So now the same thing is, this is the secret of experiencing natural emunah. So when we connect to this transcendent light, it allows us to be this pleasure, calm state. At the same time, it gives over messages in a way that we can receive it. Okay, so we start trusting Hashem more, and we don't have to convince ourselves. It's like a natural trust. I can't explain it, but the more you're in it, the more it becomes a reality. It's like, listen, I'm sure Hashem is going to be, you don't have to tell yourself. You don't have to convince yourself. It's like, oh, yeah, I know.
Because you feel it.
You feel
it. The Tohu light makes you feel it. You can't argue. If you feel happy, someone could say you're not happy, and it's like, I feel it.
Yeah.
Can't deny a feeling.
Right. There's nothing to argue with. Like, and you live it, and you feel safe. And even if you don't even know how it's going to end. I don't know, but I know that I feel okay. I feel I'm taken care of, even if I have things coming up. I don't know why. I feel just fine. Hashem has my back somehow or other. But I didn't convince myself, because if you convince yourself, everything's going to argue with it. What do you mean you're fine? This is not good. That's that right. This. No, but it's a natural thing. You can't explain it. You peel off layer after layer, and you start realizing, wow, I'm not feeling threatened by this. I feel like, wow, I just said, oh God, I'm sure he has a good reason. Like, boom, it's natural. And it's beautiful. So like now, no one could argue with me anymore. It's like, you're living it. You just can't convince me otherwise. I wouldn't live any other way. Like, okay, you think this is all wrong? Fine, but I'm keeping my prize. That's it. This is heaven. This is heaven. Without even all the prizes. I don't even know what the prizes look like, but I'm in heaven and I don't even know what the prizes look like. That's the beauty. It's emunah, it's trust, because it's like a kid. He knows his father's taking care of him. He doesn't know what his father does for a living. He doesn't know nothing. He just knows that he wakes up, there's food and there's things. That's all. And he knows. And he doesn't ask. Doesn't need to know.
I was thinking.
Yeah.
This morning, I was thinking it's so beautiful that we're in a process.
I can't hear you.
Because
it's breaking up.
Uh-oh, did I freeze?
Yes, I didn't hear you. You want to start again? I don't hear you.
Yeah. Sorry. I know. I froze, right?
Yeah.
Sorry. No, I was thinking this morning, I was like, it's such a gift that we're in a process where things are still not complete. Like we're on a journey, we're healing our relationships, we're healing the different things in our lives. Everyone has parts in our life, even if we feel geula, that there's still things that need and I was thinking this morning, like, what a gift from Hashem, because I have things that need to be healed, but I know that I have that I don't need to do it. And I know that I can't, and I know I don't need to. So it's like, wow, this is true. Like if everything was done already, I wouldn't be able to practice being like, it's not done and I don't need to be the one to do it. Like how amazing.
It's surrender.
It's
like you trust. It's like you trust that.
Like, and then we could watch it unfold and watch it be worked out without us. It's like, that's the pleasure. It's like, it's not about being done. It's about the pleasure of watching it happen for us.
Yeah. And you're just watching the next page. And you're reading, like, it's a lot of drama. It's a lot of drama. Hashem loves drama, let me tell you. And it's like, I have a friend I talk to like almost every week. To be continued. Oh, you should hear the drama this week. And like, oh, you would never believe this. This is like, okay, next installment next week. Every week is always drama, but it's fun. It's a lot of fun. I mean, it's serious, but it's fun. It hurts and it's fun. At the same time. We're not negating the pain. No, we're not negating it. It hurts, and it's exciting to see the revelation of Hashem, even if you don't know how it's going to end.
It's like when you step out of it, like you described, and I also had that yesterday where I was able to just back out, and then it's like I'm just going to sit back and I'm going to that part. But now what you're saying, it's like now I'm just going to like sit back and watch the show. It's like I'm watching a drama, and then we'll hear what comes next of these cousins that are accusing each other of
chapter 2,
and I could just watch it as a show and not be involved and not be one of the players. You're
not caught into the darkness of it and all that stuff. It's beautiful.
I really
so I just want to finish one thing.
Okay.
Because I want to end by an hour. So, because I wanted to get to this part where we're going to get more into the being a keli for Gishmei Bracha. So in practical terms, this light, the light of flow without parameters or limitations, that's recognizable that it's essence, but it's received in a way of flow, which means that it gives to the recipient in a way that it's able to receive. This is the revelation of this is how to have Gishmei Bracha, that things come to you without chasing it, and in a way that is beneficial to you, right? So number one, so what's like special about this Tohu light? So you have to engage in this light in a way that
44
with the right case. 1 second, I'm hearing
a little bit on this one.
1 second, I'm hearing. Everybody mute themselves for a second. Can everybody mute? Yeah, mute. Okay. So I just want to finish with this. So more about this Gishmei Bracha. So we're going to get more into it next week. So it allows things to flow rather than to chase, because it's the light of flow. It allows for miracles to be normal, right? Because the light is above limitations and parameters. So you're connecting to this light of miracles. Miracles within the natural order of things. Okay, so things that it looks normal, but it's really not, because you know that it was impossible. Okay, now because it has both qualities of the flow and revelation of Hashem, that's why even when there's unity, it allows for each aspect to be distinguishable one from the other. The body remains a body, the soul remains a soul, masculine remains masculine, feminine remains feminine, and yet they find a way to come together. And that also, that unity brings a lot of bracha and peace and all the good stuff to the world. So now we can understand why Moshe was afraid and couldn't approach, because as the Rebbe says, because as a limited being with a soul within a body, without the kelim to be able to channel the Tohu lights appropriately, one is unable to internalize the wonderful exposures of Hashem's essence, the gushing forth of all lights. Like we said, you have to internalize it. It's a process to know what to do with it, to know how to channel it right. You can't just have all this information coming at you, things that you didn't understand before, and like, what do I do with it? Like, okay, very nice, like so slowly you have a situation. So miraculously, Hashem said, I'll give you the kalim. I'll help you approach Paro, and you'll be able to not be affected by him and all that stuff without you having the kalim. That will take thousands of years or whatever to be able to have that. But that's the whole thing. And again, the Rebbe points out that Moshe wasn't afraid of the canals of the orderly graduated worlds, which is a light that created beings could receive, which is spirituality. That wasn't scary. He was scared of the Tohu lights. He wasn't scared of spiritual lights. That's what the Rebbe wants to point out. He wasn't scared of just this very intense light that if you don't know how to use it, right? That's why we were suppressed all these years. Because this light, it has magical powers, but it could be the most destructive light, right? Think of all the addictions. Think of everybody being materialistic and all that, empty and chasing and needing validation from everybody else. All that stuff, you have to know how to use it. And this is why we're learning, and we've been learning how to use this very holy light with the kila. You got to channel it properly. You can't just think, okay, I'm going to do this, and that. And I'm going to know, is it doing anything for me? Am I showing up in a better mood? Not. So find something else. Tune in. I'm feeling triggered. Okay, it doesn't mean you scream, but let's see what's going on over here. It's like we have to know we have to have the tools. We have to, so that's all that beautiful stuff. So, okay. So now, the Rebbe's pointing out, these are the Tohu lights, okay, that you need to have the, special kalim to be able to use these lights. So this is hinted to in the Parsha as it continues. When Parshas said to Moshe, go away from me, take heed, don't you dare see my face again, because on the day you will see my face, you will die. Face is pnimius. This light is accessed through our pnimius, but you have to have the kalim even from the pnimius of how to use it. You know what I mean? So yeah, let's say you tune in. Okay, it's time for vacation. Like, okay, what, when, where, what, how? You got to have the kalim to know what to do with it. Channel it right. There has to be something that this and that. And my pnimius wants chocolate. Well, is it one piece, 3 pieces? You got to know how to use it. That 3 pieces, I always say, gets you nauseous. 1 piece makes you feel good. You can't just wait. So people think, oh, now we can use everything. No. It's very pnimius. But the rule is it has to put you in a good mood. It has to put you on a high light, that give you that feeling. It has to have the effect. If it didn't have the effect, you got to figure out why not. And then there's blockages. If you're stressed out, I just want to finish. If you're triggered, you can't be dancing and you're triggered. It doesn't work. You got to first heal the trigger, then you dance. Now you're in a high, things happen, good stuff, and then you get another one. Okay, I just want to finish that. So, so he wasn't able to receive in a created being in soul and body the revelation of the pnimius, because he didn't have the kalim. This is the countenance of Paro. They'd be able to reveal atzmos. He didn't have the kalim to perceive the inwardness of the gushing forth of all the lights, the Tohu lights, to receive the truth of the Tohu lights, right? And which is what we've been learning for the past couple of years. This is what we talk about a whole day on the Malchus WhatsApp, is revealing the truth of the Tohu lights. That's what we're all about. So yeah, okay. And without it, on the day you see my face, you'll die. If we had tried to access it, right, we said without the deepest truth, without all these tools, then it would destroy us. Like all the people that chase, right? I mean, we don't need any, we know the whole world, So 1 second, just to make sure I have the whole thing. Even things like jealousy, okay? Jealousy, it sounds negative, but every single thing, if you address the core issue, the truth, it has a truth. Okay, so what's jealousy? How come he's living that life and I'm not? Okay, so what's the truth? Maybe the truth is I'm worthy. Oh, okay, so acknowledge to yourself that I'm worthy of abundance or something, whatever it is. So that's the deepest truth of Hashem. It doesn't mean I have to have his thing. Just be, I'm worthy, and we'll see when it happens. But when you acknowledge it, it doesn't talk to you anymore. You can see the other person's house, and you can feel calm because you know that it's yours. You just didn't get it yet. And that's the beauty of all the stuff. But you have to have the kalim. You have to know what to do with it. Like all the things that we're learning. I just want to make sure we finish. So now it's the koyach of we said it again, but I'll say it again. The koyach of the command, Bayal Pari, is what gave it the ability to work together, these two lights, to have the power of the two opposites, the revelation of Atmos and the flow, which we said, it's on a level the person can receive, and all, it puts you on it uplifts you, it adds to you, all that stuff. And then, so I'm just quoting the Sicha, because with the koyach of the command, it becomes possible that even though he still remains a soul in a limited body, Moshe is now able to receive the revelation of his paru, kol naharin, gushing of all the spiritual lights, which are the lights of Asmos. And from this is understood that these words of para have a place in Torah, Kedusha, only that according to how they are in Kedusha, it is good in its completion. So this is like the new Torah Chadasha. This is the Rebbe saying, this is Torah Chadasha. That's it. It's basically saying, if the Rebbe has to make it a point to say that this has a place in Torah, that means in the past we didn't really see that. Why would the Rebbe say that? You have to go very deep. Everything, everything in the Torah, has a reason why it's said. So if the Rebbe has to point out that it's this and not that, and this has a place in Torah Kedusha, obviously you got to do the math. That means in the past, we didn't really find that in the Torah. Right? Make sense? Okay, so now we're gonna, I'm gonna shut the recording, and we could fabring, and anybody that has to go is